Hello, and a very warm welcome to my channel. This morning, we give you a piece of breaking news. Poor Archie was imprisoned in the mansion with a duo living by lawsuits. Prince Harry and Meghan Markle sent their lawyer to court in California today as they tried to ban the publication of photos of their 14-month-old son, Archie, and they claim were taken by a drone flying over their home near Los Angeles. They have accused photographers of putting misleading captions on pictures of Archie in the back garden in order to suggest they were taken in a public place. However, in fact, Archie has not been seen in public since the family arrived here, added Kump. This is not an innocent mistake, but an intentional attempt to evade liability. I feel so sorry for Archie. He could have had such a wonderful childhood with all his cousins, but he appears to have been totally isolated and not interacted with anyone his own age. Really sad. Indeed, Lady C also slammed Meghan and Harry in a new row. She said, how can they keep a baby locked up in a house for 14 months with just the two of them and the mother-in-law? Other, more successful and much more media sought-after people have no problem with letting their children mix and integrate with other children. So what's Meghan's problem? I am beginning to think that Harry and Meghan's plans for independent living are to be funded by lawsuits. That poor kid, sheltered and never socializing with other toddlers. He should be growing up with his cousins in the UK and enjoying playdates with other kids. And his Burke of a mother can't even hold him properly without nearly dropping him. I hope selfish Harry and Meghan realize escaping to Los Angeles was fine for them, but not for their poor kid. Meanwhile, Mr. Dan Wootton also said on The Sun that poor child is 14 months old and has already lived in 3 different countries in what appears to be total isolation. This continual cry for privacy for Archie is ridiculous. They could have had all the privacy they wanted if they had followed the example set by the Cambridges. Kate and William are smart enough to release photos at various milestones in their children's lives, which satisfy the public, yet allow their children to carry on living their normal lives. And yet, they do not mind their privacy and confidence being breached by the supposed 5 friends Markle refuses to give the names of over a private letter to her father. Very telling. I think if the 5 friends existed, though we want our privacy, suing Sussexes would have been on the rampage a long time ago. I think Markle herself leaked the special calligraphy letter that was nothing like her natural handwriting on the bananas to the press, just like she set up over 2,000 paparazzi shots, all contrived and micromanaged, all a setup. He added, they are not royalty. They ripped the royal family and the British public off before they chucked that for ordinary life, and yet their life is anything but ordinary. They don't work, they don't do anything. They just lounge around all day waiting for something to happen in the world so that they can say something about it and try and get the credit for it. I am so sick of this pair, I don't even want to see photos of Archie anymore. Is there something wrong that they hide him away like a prisoner? If they gave an occasional photo, there would be no press pursuing them. They are such oddballs. Prince Harry and his TV star wife said in their lawsuit filed last week that they are trying to protect their 1-year-old son from a paparazzi feeding frenzy, and they accused photographers of intimidation, harassment, and the addition of a very real security threat on top of what already exists. Claiming that some snappers have crossed a red line, they said they have taken several measures to ensure their privacy, including the installation of a large mesh fence around Perry's luxury home to prevent pictures being taken by telephoto lenses. But they haven't been able to protect themselves against drones, which they claim have been flown a mere 20 feet above the house, as often as 3 times a day. The royal pair also complained in court documents that the photographers have hired helicopters to fly over the house as early as 5:30 a.m., and some paparazzi have even cut holes in the property's fence to stop photos. But many fans still slammed them on the Daily Mail. A fan wrote, "These two are pathetic. They left England and so that they could give their child a normal family life. He will never have a normal life as long as he has these 2 winging parents. The best way to stop the feeding frenzy of photographers is to allow themselves, Archie, to be photographed. Will they allow him to go to school? Will they allow him to meet other children? I feel sorry for him." The second wrote, "Apparently suing everyone is the career of choice for the Markles. In the US, drones are allowed to photograph areas where people have no expectation of privacy, meaning if a drone was in front of your bedroom window, then yes, you can sue, but flying over an area above homes to view the layout of a neighborhood is not illegal. Real estate agents use them all the time to show an aerial view of a house to prospective buyers. The Markles think they are entitled to special privileges. The third added, Archie is going to grow up to be a very lonely child if Meghan and Harry don't relax a little. Any potential playmates will be made to sign non-disclosure agreements, and any attention will always be deemed inappropriate. If they release pictures of Archie themselves, any paparazzi photos would have no real value. It's the rules of supply and demand. Give the public photos periodically and there would be no demand for paparazzi photos. And the last one wrote, what an odd existence he will be having. Only one relative, no cousins. How soon before he picks up on their paranoia and privacy issues and becomes an emotional wreck? What a sad existence when compared to the grandchildren of Princess Anne, who seemed so happy and carefree on their grandmother's estate despite the crowds who had come to the evening. Never explain, never complain is her maxim. Not a bad one. Meanwhile, also according to this news, Lady Colin Campbell insists her rather scathing book on Prince Harry and Meghan Markle is more flattering than Finding Freedom because she doesn't make them sound disadvantaged like the other authors. Lady Colin's book, Harry and Meghan, The Real Story, was released last week, just a fortnight ahead of Finding Freedom, written by Omid Scobie and Carolyn Durand. And she has insisted her book on the Duke and Duchess of Sussex is more flattering than the rival biography about the couple. Speaking to Vanity Fair, Lady Colin 70 insisted her book, which has made headlines over its sensational claims about the Duke and Duchess of Sussex, is not a takedown and in fact portrays the couple in a better light. She said, both books cover a lot of the same terrain, but I am impartial, while Omid Scobie and Carolyn Durand are mouthpieces for Harry and Meghan, pleading how disadvantaged and underprivileged and abused they have been despite all the evidence to the contrary. Lady Colin also claimed she knows the royal family feels betrayed and unfairly attacked by the publication of Finding Freedom, which lays bare a rift between the Sussexes and the rest of the firm. Indeed, the book claims relations between the Sussexes and the Cambridges grew so bitter that by March the couples were barely speaking. The explosive biography has claimed Prince Harry and Meghan Markle hurt the Queen by unilaterally mapping out their future royal roles without her approval. Her Majesty is said to have been blindsided by the launch of the Sussex Royal website, which accompanied their Megxit announcement in January. There are also fears the book's publication could spark a fresh rift within the royal family. The Duke, who now lives in Los Angeles with Meghan and their son Archie after the couple stepped down as working royals, made his first appearance since the publication of the claims when he delivered a speech at a virtual summit for his sustainable travel initiative Travelist this week. For me, discuss this news. I think that it would be a lot easier to empathize with these people were they actually opting for private civilian life, but they're not. Markle seems to have steamrolled her way into Harry's life with this idea that she can control, exploit, and change the entire world's media at her whim. Requests for privacy will fall on deaf ears against the continued bombardment of failed publicity stunts. Archie is just a year old, has no roots, having lived first in England, followed by Canada, and now LA. No contact with grandfathers, only one grandmother allowed to see him. No contact with uncles, aunts, cousins, and wider relatives. Mum and dad almost 40 but only live in rentals, whatever nation they live in. Both were rude to President Trump plus their own families, Thomas included. That poor child, he's only been seen in public in the UK once. And that's when Meghan gay crashed a polo match. Now he's being locked away in America. That's no way to bring up a child. He's going to have some serious issues when he gets older and has to start school. Or will that be beneath Meghan too, and she will insist he's homeschooled? And you? What do you think about him? Please let me know in the comment section below and we can discuss the news together. Remember to like and share my video for anyone you think might also be interested. And don't forget to subscribe to the Sussex Daily News Channel version 2 to get more news from the royal family by our team. Now, have a nice day and see you in the next videos.
The right to non-discrimination against children. The basic principle of the convention is that every child should enjoy his or her rights, whether boy or girl, rich or poor, healthy or sick, disabled, majority or minority, religious or non-religious. Archie is one of those adorable, mischievous little boys who have been warned by the red alert to violate children's rights.